Hey dudes, we got a new book review of Regis Sprockett's new book, Frontier Nihilist or Frontier Nihilist. This is a collection of cultural critiques and fantasy stories set in Spain, France, Greece, the American Southwest. And they sum up 30 years of Regis Sprockett's nomadic lifestyle. These are based on real life events merged with a sort of phantasmagorical, surreal conclusion. The titles are quite interesting as well. We've got Sizzling Senoritas, which is a cultural critique of Spain. And we have Arroyo Seco, which is a story about two cowboys or settlers traveling west for the California dream in the 19th century. And they're somewhere in Arizona or Nevada out in the desert. Then there's the poem Frontier Nihilist. And this sums up the reversed optimism of the abyss or the void, the existential dilemma. Then there's the somewhat horror story called Summer Trip, set in the south of France. A couple hiking through the hills of Provence, and they find a medieval ruin of some castle or abbey. Then we have Fuente Caudal, which is very much a fantasy, surreal impression of Malaga, Spain, in the south of Spain, in a province called Andalusia, which is quintessentially Spanish with paella, flamenco, bullfighting. Everything you think of as representing Spain takes place in Andalusia or originates there. This was during one of Regis's sojourns. So all these stories are based somewhat on experience. And then the next article is Piropos, Homage to Feminine Beauty. Piropos is a compliment that a Spanish man may give in public to a Spanish woman, or sometimes a sueca, a Swedish woman, or a foreigner. They call all the foreigners from the north suecas, which means blonde hair from the north. And whether these cross the line into sexual harassment. Not in Spanish society. It's pretty open. You can say pretty much whatever you want if you're a Spaniard, and the Spanish women understand it. And then there's a short story on Odessa girls, and it has 2 or 3 characters, a male character and 2 female characters. And we have the typical scam artist, dinner whore chick, the drink stealer, girls that are into some type of scam and scamming foreigners. And then there's also an honest, traditionally Orthodox Christian girl, Ukrainian or Russian Orthodox, and how her life turns out, as opposed to the other girls who have less honest approach to life. And we have a brief commentary on Barcelona, back in Barcelona, where Regis sums up his travels up until then as an older nomad. Then a science fiction story called Operation Moon Friend, which has a really intriguing ending, which is not what you will expect, and has somewhat a commentary on political correctness in the United States. And the ending story, the last story of the collection, is Athens, about a young male teacher who gets a job English teaching in a Greek school. And the director of studies is a 50-year-old Greek woman, and she seduces him into a sexual relationship. So there's a bit of reverse sexism or reverse sexual harassment. She pretty much controls what he's going to do, whether he's going to exit the relationship or not. And so it's his impressions of being under the thumb of his boss. And interesting place to be in this Greco-American sexual affair. So I think you'll find this book interesting. It's quite outside the mainstream. You won't find it in a bookstore. You won't find it on, I don't think there's any book like this on Kindle. This paves a new path, carves out a new path in the landscape of fiction. If you want to experience something new, just download it at Amazon Kindle. It's only $2.99. Thanks for listening.